Hello again, everyone. So today we're going to talk about generic types. So now when we think of software development, one of the purposes is to create components that we can use over and over again. So in other words, we'll aim to develop a structure that we design today, and it's flexible enough to provide us with our future needs as well. So that's why we talk about generics, because generics are structures that allow us to work in different types, not just one type. All right, so we can say that it supports flexible, future-proof, whatever you want to say. That's the way I see it anyway. All right, so why don't I show you what I mean with an example? So I'll just write a simple function that returns a number. And this function takes a number as a parameter. And now I'll define a variable using this function and define a number. I print this value on the console, run the program. And as you can see, the value we give. So look here, we've specified that this function will take a number value. Of course, I get an error if I write a string value here, right? And likewise, if I want to print a console string value, it needs to define a second function. So that means I also need to define the second function. So this function also takes a string value, and the return type is string again. So again, I'll define a variable that uses this function. And then I'll print the console. So in fact, we don't see any problems here. Well, mainly because there aren't any problems. However, as I mentioned in the beginning, the aim is not to repeat the same thing. We want to be able to use the structure over and over again. So now I'll show you by writing a third function. So now after typing the function and name, we'll define the type this way. And then again, the type of value to get, and we'll define the type of value to return. So now look at our use of T here. It comes entirely from the word type. Yeah, it's the first letter. Now, we can also use values like A, B, and C if we want to. But sure enough, see how this gives us a way in. Now, as above, I want to print a number value to the console first, and I'm sending a number value to the last function. So now let's send a string value to the third function and print console. Look at that. Don't get any errors. Because we've not specified here which type we're going to work with. We said here that we will get a type with the letter T, but we didn't specify this type. So when I want to use two different types here, I can just use the same function. That's what using generic types are all about. So now before finishing our lesson here, I do want to show you the generic structure in classes. I'll just write class and write name. And then I'll write the generic type that we used just before. So in this class, if I want, I can define a variable and use this. Or we can make a function definition and we can continue using it here. And we create an object from this class. So here I specify that I will use number as a variable. And when I call this function now, it says I need to send a number value. Because we stated here that there will be a number. Now, if we use a string here, it'll give an error. Because it's expecting and wanting and was going to ask us for a string value. So you see how the logic is the same. But instead of using a definite type, we use the generic. And then we can use different types that we want to for the same class. So what this does is prevents us from just doing different classes that are going to be doing the same thing each time. Who wants redundancy? So sure enough, my friends, we have come to the end of this lesson. We've got rid of some repetitive tasks thanks to the use of the generic. All right, so take care of yourself until our next lesson. I'll see you then. Bye for now.